I'm Alisha from Sweet Bakes, coming to you with the first of hopefully many tutorials today. I have a really fun technique to share with you all that I get asked about on Instagram all the time. It's called the marble trend. I'm sure you've all seen it. It's one that looks super complicated, but it's actually really, really easy. So I'm going to share with you how we can make a marble cake today. I'm going to be demonstrating this technique on a styrofoam dummy today. I've just prepped this with a little bit of shortening. The reason I use shortening on both my dummies and my real cakes is because it adheres to fondant really, really well. And the beauty of it is if you do make a mistake, it's very easy to peel off and you won't ruin the ganache underneath. For this first part, I'm going to put a pair of gloves on. We're going to be working with black dye, and even though food dye hands are part of my normal cake accessories, black is not my colour today, so I'm going to protect my hands. Marble can be made in any colour, but today I want mine to look like stone, so I'm going to be using a little bit of black to create that. So to start with, we're just going to take a little piece of our fondant. We'll take some gel food colouring. Just pop a little bit on here. And we're just going to knead this until it turns into a nice grey. Okay, well you can see why we had to use gloves for that. Now you should have a grey piece of fondant. It doesn't matter if it's not completely blended in, just as long as you've got roughly a solid grey colour. Now we're going to take our larger piece of fondant and just work it a little bit more as it's been sitting there. We're going to grab little pieces of the grey, just breaking them off. Just going to put them in different random sections of the fondant. Turn it over. A few more. Alright. And then we're going to take our little black bottle again and just getting a little bit on the tip of the opening, we want to just pop some little grey spots in a few sections there. The key to this next part, when you're doing marble, you don't want to knead your fondant too much. The more you start to work it, the more blend you get, and it'll end up being a solid colour. So the key is to go very sparingly. I want to move my hands in a sort of pushing and pulling motion, so I'm trying to stretch the colour out. Just like this. So pushing and stretching. The good part about this is it's a nice little arm workout. Okay, so you can see there's a few little blobs of colour. You want to separate them a little bit more so you do get that nice marbled stretch. There we go. When you roll this out, it's going to blend even more. So to me, you can see that there's quite a few bits of dark, there's some black, there's some grey and white. So I think we'll leave it like that and we'll start to roll it out. To roll my fondant out, I'm going to prep my bench by spraying a little bit of canola oil or cooking spray. A lot of people will put down corn flour, but I don't do this because I think it tends to dry your fondant out, and that's when you get that horrible elephant skin. So I use cooking spray, just a light spray on my bench, and it keeps it nice and hydrated. We're just going to begin to roll our fondant out. I have this fantastic rolling pin that does all the hard work for me. Let's keep rolling this out. And you can see already this amazing marble coming to life here. Now that our fondant is rolled out, we've got this amazing marble pattern. It's about 1/2 centimetre thick. We're going to take a smaller rolling pin and just place this halfway between. I'm going to pick it up from this side and fold it over my rolling pin. Bring our dummy over. Dummies are a little bit harder than real cakes because they are so light, they do move around, so you have to be a little bit careful it doesn't slide too much off your bench. I'm going to pick up the rolling pin. I'm just going to wrap and drape this over. Okay. Now the key is to securing the top as quickly as you can. smooth down our sides here. You want to avoid trying to pull down. It's about pushing the fondant into the edges of the cake. I'm going to be trimming the excess off as I go, just so it doesn't drag. Trim this off. I'm just working around the cake, bit by bit, making sure I'm not pulling down too hard, pulling the skirt out and then pushing it in towards the cake. So our last section, do the same thing, smoothing that down to the very bottom edge. Okay. I'll just start to trim off all that excess. Okay. And I'll just pop this away. To start with making sharp edges, I'm going to take 2 fondant smoothers. The technique I like to use is a little bit like that one where you rub your stomach and you pat your head, this sort of movement. So I'm going to have one on top and one on the side. This one's going to work up and down, and this one is going to sort of do this circular motion. So we're trying to push this edge and this edge together to get a really nice, sharp, clean edge. We'll just start doing that. Moving up and down, and this one working around. So now that our edge is nice and sharp, the very last step that we're going to do is take our rounded smoother. We're going to clean up this bottom edge on the cake board. We're going to be pushing the fondant down, trying to cut it off. Just go like this, with a lot of pressure, until that removes off of the board. So we'll do that all the way around the cake and we'll get a really nice bottom edge. Okay, there you can see we have our marble cake. Super easy, you need minimal tools, just a really good quality fondant to achieve a result like this. I'm just going to finish mine up with a few fresh flowers, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see all the beautiful cakes you create.